Liam Carter stood tall under the blazing sun, his sun-kissed skin glistening with sweat as he scanned the horizon from his lifeguard tower. The rhythmic sound of crashing waves filled the air, blending with the laughter and chatter of beachgoers. It was another perfect summer day in Santa Monica, where the vibrant energy of the beach seemed to pulse with life. Liam loved this job. It allowed him to be outdoors, surrounded by the ocean, and most importantly, he got to help people. As he adjusted his sunglasses and took a sip from his water bottle, Liam's gaze drifted to the beach below. Families were sprawled out on colorful towels, children were building sandcastles, and a group of teenagers played beach volleyball nearby. Among them was a striking figure who caught Liam's attention. A young man with tousled dark hair and an artistic flair in his demeanor was sketching furiously in a notebook, oblivious to the world around him. Ethan Blake had always felt more comfortable behind a canvas or a sketchpad than in social situations. Today was no different. He had come to the beach seeking inspiration for his latest project, a series of paintings that captured the essence of summer. But as he sat on the warm sand, he felt out of place amidst the lively crowd. His oversized hoodie hung loosely on his frame, and he often tugged at it as if it could shield him from unwanted attention. Liam noticed Ethan's concentration, admiring how his brow furrowed in deep thought as he captured the scene before him. There was something captivating about the way Ethan immersed himself in his art, as if he could block out everything else. Intrigued, Liam decided to take a closer look. "Hey there," Liam called out as he approached Ethan, trying to break through the artist's bubble. Ethan looked up, startled at first, but then relaxed when he recognized Liam's friendly demeanor. "Oh, hi," Ethan stammered, his cheeks flushing slightly. "I didn't see you there." Liam grinned, leaning casually against a nearby palm tree. "What are you working on? It looks interesting." Ethan hesitated for a moment before showing Liam his sketch, a rough outline of the beach scene with vibrant colors splashed across it. "It's just a rough draft," he said shyly. "I'm trying to capture the energy of summer." Liam studied the drawing closely, genuinely impressed. "You've got talent. This is amazing." He could see how Ethan's artistic eye transformed an ordinary scene into something magical. "Thanks," Ethan replied, a smile creeping onto his face. The compliment ignited a spark of confidence within him. "I'm Ethan, by the way." "Liam," he introduced himself with a warm smile. "So what brings you to the beach today?" "I needed some inspiration," Ethan admitted, glancing back at his sketchbook. "But I guess I'm not really good at socializing in places like this." Liam chuckled lightly. "Trust me, I get it. Sometimes I feel like I'm just here to keep people safe rather than enjoy myself." He gestured toward the sea where children splashed about joyfully. Ethan's eyes followed Liam's gesture, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "You're a lifeguard?" he asked, curiosity evident in his voice. "Yeah, it's my summer job," Liam replied proudly. "I love it, being out here and helping people enjoy their time at the beach." As they chatted, Ethan felt more at ease with each passing moment. They discussed art and life, how Liam found fulfillment in saving lives while Ethan sought solace in creativity. Their conversation flowed effortlessly as if they had known each other for years. Just then, a sudden commotion erupted near the water's edge. A group of teenagers had started playing an impromptu game of frisbee that quickly escalated into chaos as someone accidentally threw it too hard toward a cluster of unsuspecting sunbathers. "Watch out!" Liam shouted instinctively as he sprang into action, moving swiftly toward the scene to prevent any injuries. Ethan watched in awe as Liam navigated through the crowd with confidence and authority. The lifeguard's presence was magnetic, people instinctively parted ways for him as he approached the chaos. After ensuring everyone was okay and giving some lighthearted advice about being more careful next time, Liam returned to Ethan with an exhilarated grin on his face. "Wow," Ethan said breathlessly. "You really know how to handle things." "It comes with the job," Liam replied modestly but couldn't hide his pride. "But I have to admit, it feels good to help out." Ethan smiled genuinely for what felt like the first time that day. There was something undeniably special about this encounter that filled him with warmth. As they continued talking and laughing under the sun, neither of them realized how quickly time passed until Sophie Turner, Liam's best friend, called out from nearby. "Liam, we're heading for ice cream. You coming?" Liam turned back toward Ethan reluctantly but felt an undeniable pull toward this intriguing artist who had unexpectedly brightened his day. "Want to join us?" Liam asked impulsively. Ethan hesitated for just a moment before nodding enthusiastically. Sure, that sounds great. As they walked together toward Sophie and her friends, both boys felt an unspoken connection forming between them, a bond that neither had anticipated but both secretly hoped would grow stronger with each passing day. The sun began its descent towards the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, a perfect backdrop for what was about to unfold in their lives. The following days unfolded like a beautiful tapestry, each moment weaving Liam and Ethan closer together. Their ice cream outing had been the catalyst for something special, a spark igniting a friendship that felt both exhilarating and comforting. They met at the beach almost every day, sharing laughter, stories, and dreams while the waves lapped at their feet. One sunny afternoon, as the beach buzzed with activity, Ethan arrived early to set up his sketchpad in a quiet spot near the water. He loved this time of day when the sun was warm but not too hot, and the gentle breeze carried the salty scent of the ocean. Today, he wanted to capture the essence of summer, the way the sunlight danced on the water and how the laughter of children echoed in the air. As he focused on his drawing, lost in his thoughts, he suddenly heard a familiar voice calling out to him. "Hey, Picasso, what are you working on today?" Liam approached with his usual energy, wearing his lifeguard uniform and a bright smile that made Ethan's heart skip a beat. Ethan looked up from his sketchbook, feeling a rush of warmth at Liam's presence. "Just trying to capture this moment," he replied, gesturing toward the vibrant scene around them. "But I think it's missing something." Liam leaned over to take a look. "It looks amazing already. I can almost feel the summer vibes." He paused for a moment and then added playfully, "But if you need some inspiration, I could always pose for you." Ethan laughed, shaking his head. "I don't think anyone would want to see me draw you in your lifeguard shorts." "Hey now." Liam feigned offense but couldn't help but chuckle along. "I'm just trying to help you out here." All right, Ethan relented with a grin. "Maybe just a quick sketch." Liam struck a dramatic pose, flexing his arms comically as if he were about to save someone from drowning. Ethan burst into laughter as he quickly began to sketch. The sound of Liam's laughter was infectious, making it impossible for Ethan to concentrate fully on his drawing. As Ethan captured Liam's playful spirit on paper, he felt an overwhelming sense of happiness. This was more than just a friendship, it felt like they were building something deeper, a connection that resonated beyond words. After finishing the sketch, Ethan turned it around to show Liam. "What do you think?" he asked nervously. Liam studied the drawing closely, his eyes widening in appreciation. "Wow, this is incredible. You've really captured my essence," he said dramatically before breaking into laughter again. Ethan felt his cheeks flush with pride and embarrassment at once. "Thanks, but I think it's more about your pose than my skills." Just then, a loud splash interrupted their banter. A group of teenagers nearby had started an impromptu game of beach volleyball right next to the water's edge. The excitement grew as they cheered each other on, and soon enough, one of them spiked the ball too hard, sending it flying straight toward where Ethan and Liam were sitting. "Look out!" Liam shouted instinctively as he dove toward Ethan, knocking him out of harm's way just in time. The ball soared past them and splashed into the water with a loud plop. Ethan's heart raced, not just from the near miss but from how close Liam had come to him. Their bodies had brushed against each other during the dive, sending an electric jolt through him that left him breathless. "Are you okay?" Liam asked, concern etched across his face as he pulled back to assess Ethan. "Yeah, I'm fine," Ethan stammered, still caught up in the moment. He could feel heat rising in his cheeks again but hoped it wasn't too obvious. Liam grinned widely, clearly pleased with himself for being so heroic. "You know," he said playfully while standing up and brushing off sand from his shorts, "I think I deserve some kind of reward for saving your life." Ethan raised an eyebrow teasingly. "And what kind of reward are we talking about? How about you let me take you out for dinner tonight? My treat," Liam suggested with an inviting smile that made Ethan's heart flutter. Ethan hesitated for just a moment, this was unexpected but thrilling all at once. "Dinner? Just us?" He tried to sound casual while feeling butterflies erupting in his stomach. "Yeah, just us," Liam confirmed enthusiastically. "I know this great little place by the pier that has amazing seafood, and they make killer milkshakes." Ethan felt a rush of excitement mixed with nerves as he considered it. This wasn't just dinner, it felt like something more, a step into uncharted territory that both thrilled and terrified him. Okay, Ethan finally replied, unable to suppress his smile. I'd love that. As they made plans for later that evening, both boys were unaware of how this dinner would change everything between them. The sun began its descent toward the horizon again, casting a golden glow over everything around them, a perfect backdrop for what was about to unfold. Later that evening, as they walked side by side along the pier after dinner, laughter echoing against the backdrop of crashing waves, Ethan felt an undeniable connection growing stronger between them with every shared glance and smile. But just as they reached an isolated spot overlooking the ocean where they could hear nothing but each other's voices and the gentle lapping of waves against the shore, fate had other plans in store. Suddenly, from behind them came shouts and commotion as someone yelled for help. A figure struggling in the water caught their attention immediately. Without thinking twice, Liam sprang into action once more, his instincts kicking in as he dashed toward the chaos unfolding before them. Stay here, he called back over his shoulder as he ran toward the shoreline where panic erupted among beachgoers who had witnessed someone go under. Ethan stood frozen for a moment before adrenaline kicked in. He couldn't let Liam face this alone. He followed closely behind him as they reached the water's edge together. The scene was chaotic, people were shouting instructions while others pointed frantically toward where someone had disappeared beneath the waves. Liam scanned the area quickly before diving into action again, his training taking over as he swam out into deeper waters without hesitation. Ethan watched anxiously from shore, fear gripping him tightly as he saw Liam disappear beneath the surface. Time seemed to stretch endlessly until finally, after what felt like an eternity, Liam resurfaced with another figure clinging desperately to him. With sheer determination etched on his face, Liam fought against the waves as he brought both himself and the struggling swimmer back toward safety. Ethan's heart raced as relief washed over him when they finally reached shallow water. People rushed forward to help pull them both ashore while cheers erupted from those witnessing this heroic rescue unfold before their eyes. As soon as they were safely back on solid ground and medics arrived to assess everyone involved in this near tragedy, Ethan rushed forward through throngs of people until he reached Liam, who stood panting heavily yet triumphant beside him. You did it, Ethan exclaimed breathlessly, feeling immense pride swell within him for what Liam had accomplished once again. Liam flashed him a tired but satisfied grin before glancing back at those who had gathered around them, the adrenaline still coursing through him from both excitement and relief at having saved someone's life once more. But then something shifted within Ethan, a realization hit him hard amidst all this chaos, how deeply he cared for Liam, not just as a friend but something far more profound than either had dared acknowledge until now. And just like that, their lives intertwined even further through bravery and vulnerability, setting them on a path neither could have predicted nor prepared for, yet one that promised endless possibilities ahead. The days that followed the rescue were filled with an exhilarating mix of emotions for both Liam and Ethan. The bond they had formed deepened with each passing moment, and the beach became their sanctuary, a place where laughter mingled with the sound of crashing waves, and unspoken feelings began to surface. Ethan found himself looking forward to their daily meetings more than he had anticipated. Each time he arrived at the beach, a flutter of excitement danced in his stomach as he scanned the shoreline for Liam. Their conversations flowed effortlessly, ranging from light-hearted banter to deeper discussions about their hopes and dreams. It was as if they were peeling back layers of themselves, revealing parts they had kept hidden from the world. One afternoon, Ethan set up his sketchpad in a cozy spot under a palm tree, determined to capture the essence of summer once again. The sun filtered through the leaves, creating playful patterns on the sand. He could hear the distant laughter of children and the rhythmic sound of waves crashing against the shore. As he began to draw, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. Just then, Liam appeared, his presence radiating warmth and energy. Hey there, artist. What masterpiece are you creating today? He called out with that familiar grin that made Ethan's heart race. Ethan looked up from his sketchbook, his cheeks warming at the sight of Liam. I'm trying to capture this moment, he replied, gesturing toward the vibrant beach scene before them. But I think it might need a little more excitement. Liam chuckled as he plopped down beside Ethan in the sand. Excitement, huh? How about I give you something to work with? He jumped up and started doing exaggerated poses, flexing his muscles and pretending to fight off imaginary sea monsters. Ethan couldn't help but laugh as he sketched Liam's antics. You're ridiculous, he exclaimed between giggles, his pencil flying across the page as he tried to capture Liam's playful spirit. After a few minutes of this impromptu performance, Liam flopped back down onto the sand, breathless from laughter. Okay, I think I've given you enough material for your next masterpiece. Ethan glanced at his drawing and smiled proudly. You know, I think this might actually turn out well. As they sat together in comfortable silence for a moment, Ethan felt an urge to share something deeper with Liam, something that had been bubbling beneath the surface since their first encounter. Liam, he began hesitantly, can I ask you something? Of course. Anything, Liam replied, turning to face him with genuine interest. What made you want to be a lifeguard? Ethan asked, searching for insight into what drove Liam's passion for saving lives. Liam paused thoughtfully before answering. I guess it's always been about helping others for me. Growing up near the beach, I saw how quickly things could go wrong in the water. I wanted to be someone who could make a difference, who could be there when people needed help. Ethan admired Liam's sincerity, it was one of the many qualities that drew him closer. That's really admirable, he said softly. You're not just saving lives, you're giving people peace of mind. Liam shrugged modestly but couldn't hide the pride in his eyes. It feels good to know I can make an impact, even if it's just one person at a time. Encouraged by Liam's openness, Ethan decided to share a piece of himself too. For me, art has always been my escape. It's how I process everything, the good and the bad. He hesitated before adding, sometimes I feel like I struggle to connect with people outside of my art. Liam nodded empathetically. I get that. It can be hard to open up when you're used to expressing yourself through different mediums. Ethan smiled gratefully at Liam's understanding nature. It felt refreshing to talk about these things without judgment or pressure. As their conversation continued, they delved into their dreams. Ethan spoke about wanting to have his own exhibition one day while Liam shared his aspirations of becoming a paramedic after lifeguarding. Just then, Sophie appeared on the scene with her usual exuberance. Hey, there you two are. We're planning a bonfire tonight at the beach. You both have to come. Sounds fun. Liam replied enthusiastically while Ethan felt a mix of excitement and nervousness at the thought of spending more time with their friends. Sophie noticed Ethan's hesitation and added playfully, come on. It'll be great. We'll roast marshmallows and tell ghost stories. Ethan exchanged glances with Liam. There was something comforting about being surrounded by friends but also something thrilling about having more time alone with him. All right, Ethan agreed finally, feeling buoyed by their earlier conversation. Count me in. As night fell and they gathered around the bonfire later that evening, laughter filled the air as stories were shared under a blanket of stars twinkling overhead. The flames danced brightly against the darkening sky while Sophie entertained everyone with her animated storytelling. Liam sat close to Ethan on a log, their shoulders brushed against each other occasionally, a simple touch that sent sparks through Ethan's body each time it happened. As Sophie launched into another story about local legends, a tale involving ghostly surfers, Ethan found himself stealing glances at Liam when he thought no one was looking. The way the firelight flickered across Liam's features made him look almost ethereal. It was hard not to admire how effortlessly handsome he was. In that moment, surrounded by friends but lost in his thoughts about Liam, Ethan realized just how much this connection meant to him, how much he wanted it to grow beyond friendship. After Sophie finished her story amidst cheers and laughter from their friends, she turned her attention toward Liam and Ethan with a mischievous grin. So, are you two going to confess your undying love for each other or what? Ethan nearly choked on his drink while Liam burst into laughter, both boys caught off guard by Sophie's playful tease. Shut up, Liam said between fits of laughter while Ethan felt heat rise in his cheeks again. Sophie winked at them before moving on to another group gathered around the fire, leaving both boys feeling slightly flustered yet undeniably amused by her antics. As they settled back into conversation after Sophie left them momentarily alone again, Ethan felt emboldened by their earlier discussions. Perhaps tonight would be different. Hey, Ethan said quietly after a moment's pause as they watched flames flicker in front of them. What if we went somewhere quieter after this? Just us. Liam turned toward him with surprise evident in his eyes but then smiled slowly as if considering it deeply before nodding enthusiastically. I'd love that. The rest of the night passed in a blur, filled with laughter and stories shared among friends, but all Ethan could think about was that moment they would steal away together afterward. When they finally slipped away from the group under cover of darkness, hearts racing from both excitement and anticipation, they walked side by side along the shoreline where moonlight danced upon gentle waves lapping at their feet. With every step taken together along this quiet stretch of sand, the world around them faded away until it was just them, their hearts beating in sync as unspoken feelings hung thickly in the air between them like an electric charge waiting to ignite. And as they paused, near an isolated spot where soft waves kissed sandy shores, Ethan turned toward Liam, who stood close beside him, their eyes locking in an unbreakable gaze filled with promise. "Liam," Ethan began softly but confidently now, his heart pounding fiercely against his chest as anticipation surged within him like never before, "I really like you, more than just friends." The words hung suspended between them like magic, and for what felt like eternity, neither moved nor spoke until finally. Liam stepped closer, a smile breaking across his face that lit up everything around them like sunshine breaking through clouds after rain, and whispered back softly yet firmly, "I like you too." And just like that, the universe shifted ever so slightly as they closed the distance between them, a moment suspended in time where everything else faded away until all that remained was each other, their hearts beating wildly against one another's chests as they took this leap into uncharted territory together. The days that followed their confession felt like a whirlwind of emotions for both Liam and Ethan. What had begun as a friendship blossomed into something deeper, more profound. Each moment spent together was electric, filled with stolen glances and lingering touches that sent shivers down Ethan's spine. They were navigating uncharted waters, and every day brought new discoveries about each other. As summer rolled on, the beach became their sanctuary, a place where they could escape the world and simply be themselves. Ethan found himself sketching more than ever, inspired by the vibrant colors of the ocean and the warmth of Liam's presence. Their connection was palpable, it was as if the universe had conspired to bring them together in this idyllic setting. One sunny afternoon, while they lounged on a blanket spread across the sand, Ethan decided to share something close to his heart. He pulled out his sketchbook, flipping through pages filled with drawings that captured moments from their time together. "I've been working on something special," he said, excitement bubbling in his voice. Liam leaned closer, intrigued. "What is it?" Ethan hesitated for a moment before revealing a page that featured a beautiful sketch of Liam, his carefree smile, tousled hair, and the sun glinting off his skin. "I wanted to capture you in this moment," Ethan explained, his cheeks warming slightly. "You inspire me." Liam's eyes widened in surprise as he took in the drawing. "Wow, this is incredible." He reached out to touch the page gently, as if afraid it might disappear. "You really see me?" "I do," Ethan replied softly, feeling vulnerable yet exhilarated by Liam's reaction. "You mean a lot to me." Liam smiled warmly, and in that moment, Ethan felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for having someone like him in his life. They spent the rest of the afternoon talking about their dreams. Ethan shared his aspirations of becoming a renowned artist while Liam spoke passionately about wanting to save lives as a paramedic. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, casting golden hues across the sky, Liam suggested they attend an upcoming art show at a local gallery where Ethan's work would be displayed. "You have to showcase your talent," he insisted. "I want everyone to see how amazing you are." Ethan felt a mix of excitement and anxiety at the thought of sharing his art with others. "What if they don't like it?" he asked hesitantly. "Who cares?" Liam replied confidently. "You're doing this for yourself, not for anyone else. And I'll be there cheering you on." Ethan couldn't help but smile at Liam's unwavering support. It gave him the courage he needed to step out of his comfort zone. The day of the art show arrived, and Ethan was a bundle of nerves as he prepared for the event. He had spent countless hours perfecting his pieces, but now that it was time to showcase them, doubt crept in like an unwelcome shadow. Liam picked him up that evening, looking effortlessly handsome in a fitted shirt and jeans that accentuated his athletic build. "You ready for this?" he asked with an encouraging smile. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling both terrified and excited at once. "As ready as I'll ever be," he replied with a nervous laugh. As they arrived at the gallery, Ethan was struck by how beautiful everything looked, the walls adorned with vibrant artwork and guests mingling excitedly over drinks and hors d'oeuvres. The atmosphere buzzed with creativity and anticipation. Liam squeezed Ethan's hand reassuringly as they stepped inside together. Just remember, no matter what happens tonight, I'm proud of you." Ethan nodded, feeling bolstered by Liam's presence beside him. They made their way through the gallery, stopping to admire other artists' work before reaching Ethan's section. When they finally stood before Ethan's paintings, each piece telling a story, he felt a swell of pride mixed with anxiety wash over him. The colors danced vibrantly on canvas, each brushstroke held memories of moments shared with Liam. "Look at this one," Liam exclaimed as he pointed to a painting that depicted a sunset over the ocean, an homage to their many evenings spent together on the beach. Ethan smiled shyly at the compliment but felt his heart race when he noticed how intently Liam studied each piece. It was as if he could see beyond the paint and canvas into Ethan's soul. As guests began to gather around his work, Ethan felt a rush of nerves again, but then he heard Liam's voice cutting through the chatter like a beacon of light. "Everyone, you have to check out these amazing pieces by my friend Ethan. He's incredibly talented." The crowd turned their attention toward them as Liam proudly introduced him. Suddenly all eyes were on Ethan, and instead of feeling overwhelmed, he found strength in Liam's unwavering support. With each compliment from guests admiring his art, each nod of approval, Ethan felt more confident than ever before. He began to engage with them about his inspiration behind each piece, the stories woven into every brushstroke, and soon enough laughter erupted among them as they shared thoughts and interpretations. Hours passed in what felt like mere minutes until finally, the night culminated in applause from those gathered around him after hearing about his journey as an artist. Overwhelmed with emotion, Ethan turned toward Liam who stood nearby watching him with pride shining brightly in his eyes, and without thinking twice, he rushed forward wrapping his arms around him tightly. "Thank you for believing in me," he whispered against Liam's shoulder, feeling safe within that embrace, a place where everything else faded away except for them. "Always," Liam replied softly as he pulled back slightly to meet Ethan's gaze, his eyes filled with warmth and admiration that made Ethan's heart swell even more. As they stepped outside into the cool night air after saying goodbye to friends, they walked hand in hand along the quiet streets illuminated by streetlights casting soft glows around them. "I can't believe how well it went," Ethan said breathlessly, still riding high from all the positive energy surrounding him throughout the evening. "I knew you could do it," Liam said confidently, squeezing Ethan's hand gently as they strolled along together, each step echoing their growing connection further into uncharted territory filled with endless possibilities ahead. And just then, as they paused beneath an old oak tree, Liam turned toward Ethan once more, their faces inches apart, and whispered softly, "Can I kiss you?" Ethan's heart raced at those words, anticipation hung thickly between them like magic waiting to ignite, and without hesitation, he nodded eagerly before leaning closer until their lips met in a gentle yet passionate kiss under starlit skies, a moment that sealed their bond forevermore. The weeks that followed the art show felt like a dream for Ethan. The kiss he shared with Liam under the stars had ignited something powerful between them, and every moment since had been filled with laughter, warmth, and a growing intimacy that made Ethan's heart race. They spent nearly every day together, exploring the beach, sharing meals, and diving deeper into each other's lives. One particularly warm afternoon, they found themselves lounging on a blanket in a secluded part of the beach. The sound of waves crashing against the shore created a soothing backdrop as they basked in the sun. Liam lay on his back, eyes closed, while Ethan sketched nearby, capturing the way the sunlight danced on Liam's skin. "Hey," Liam said suddenly, breaking the peaceful silence. "What are you drawing?" Ethan looked up from his sketchpad, his pencil hovering over the page. "Just you," he admitted, a shy smile creeping onto his face. "You look so relaxed." Liam opened one eye and grinned. "I'll take that as a compliment. I'm glad I inspire you." "You do," Ethan replied earnestly. "You inspire me in so many ways." Liam propped himself up on one elbow to get a better look at Ethan's drawing. "Can I see?" Ethan hesitated for a moment before turning the sketchpad around to reveal his latest work, a portrait of Liam with soft lines capturing his carefree essence. The sunlight highlighted the contours of his face, and Ethan had tried to convey the warmth in his smile. "Wow," Liam breathed, genuinely impressed. "This is incredible. You have such a gift." Ethan felt a rush of pride at Liam's words but also an undercurrent of nervousness. "Thanks, but it's just a sketch." "It's more than just a sketch," Liam insisted, his eyes sparkling with admiration. "You have a way of bringing your subjects to life. Ethan felt his heart swell at Liam's encouragement. "I just hope I can keep improving," he said softly. "You will," Liam replied confidently. "And I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way." As they settled back into their comfortable routine, sharing stories and laughter, Ethan couldn't help but feel grateful for how much their relationship had blossomed. They were no longer just friends, they were partners navigating life together. But as summer wore on, Ethan began to sense an underlying tension within himself, a fear that loomed over him like dark clouds threatening rain. He had never been in a relationship like this before, everything felt so new and exhilarating yet terrifying at the same time. One evening, as they walked along the beach hand in hand watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink, Ethan decided it was time to confront those fears. "Liam," he began hesitantly, stopping to face him as they reached a quiet spot away from others. "Can we talk about something serious?" Liam's expression shifted slightly, concern flickered across his face as he nodded. "Of course. What's on your mind?" Taking a deep breath, Ethan gathered his thoughts before continuing. "I really care about you, but I'm scared too." He paused, searching for the right words. "I've never been in a relationship like this before, and sometimes I worry about what happens next." Liam stepped closer, concern etched on his features as he reached out to cup Ethan's cheek gently. "Hey," he said softly, looking directly into Ethan's eyes. "It's okay to be scared. This is new for both of us." Ethan felt comforted by Liam's presence. It was reassuring to know he wasn't alone in these feelings. "I just don't want to mess things up between us," he admitted quietly. "You won't mess anything up," Liam assured him firmly. "We're in this together, remember? We can take things one step at a time." Ethan nodded slowly, feeling some of the weight lift off his shoulders at those words. "You're right, I guess I just need to trust that we'll figure it out as we go." "Exactly." Liam smiled brightly, relief evident in his expression. "And no matter what happens, I'm not going anywhere." Feeling emboldened by their conversation, Ethan leaned in closer until their foreheads touched, a gesture filled with intimacy that made his heart race. "Thank you for being so understanding," he whispered before pressing his lips against Liam's softly, an affirmation of their connection that felt both grounding and exhilarating. As they pulled away slightly, both boys grinning at one another, the air around them crackled with energy once again. It was as if they had reaffirmed their bond through vulnerability and honesty. "Let's make tonight special," Liam suggested suddenly, an idea sparking in his eyes that made Ethan curious. "What do you have in mind?" Ethan asked playfully. "Just trust me," Liam replied mischievously before taking Ethan's hand and leading him further down the beach toward an area where soft sand met rocky cliffs, a hidden gem away from prying eyes. When they arrived at their destination, Liam revealed an old portable speaker from his bag along with some snacks he had packed earlier, setting everything up for an impromptu beach picnic under starlit skies. "I thought we could dance under the stars," he said with a grin as he played their favorite song, the melody drifting softly through the air while waves crashed rhythmically nearby. Ethan laughed. It was such a sweet idea, one that perfectly encapsulated their carefree summer romance, and without hesitation, he took Liam's hand again as they began to sway together beneath twinkling stars above them. With each movement, the world around them faded away until all that mattered was this moment, their bodies moving in sync while laughter echoed softly between them like music itself. As they danced together, lost in each other's embrace, Ethan felt lighter than air. All fears seemed to dissipate into nothingness while joy filled every corner of his heart. And when the song ended, they stood there wrapped up in each other's arms, breathless yet exhilarated by everything shared between them thus far. "I love this," Ethan murmured against Liam's shoulder, feeling grateful for how far they had come together. "Me too," Liam replied softly before leaning down to press another gentle kiss against Ethan's lips, a promise sealed beneath starlit skies that echoed with hope for what lay ahead. In that moment, it became clear, whatever challenges awaited them, they would face them together, hand in hand, hearts intertwined like constellations shining brightly against an endless night sky. As summer began to wane, the days grew shorter, and the air turned crisp with the promise of autumn. The beach, once bustling with sunbathers and laughter, transformed into a quieter sanctuary, where the waves whispered secrets to those who remained. For Liam and Ethan, this change brought a bittersweet feeling. They cherished their time together but knew that the season of carefree days was drawing to a close. One afternoon, as they walked along the shoreline, the sun casting long shadows on the sand, Ethan felt a sense of urgency to make the most of every moment. "Can you believe how fast summer went by?" he asked, glancing at Liam, who walked beside him with that familiar easy smile. "Yeah," Liam replied, kicking at the sand playfully. "It feels like just yesterday we were meeting for ice cream." Ethan chuckled, recalling their first encounter. "And now look at us," he said, his heart swelling with affection. "I never imagined I could feel this way about someone." Liam turned to him, his expression softening. "Neither did I. But I'm so glad we found each other." They continued walking in comfortable silence for a moment, the rhythmic sound of waves crashing against the shore filling the space between them. Ethan's mind raced with thoughts about their relationship, how it had grown from friendship to something deeper and more meaningful. But there was also an underlying tension he couldn't shake. "Liam," Ethan began hesitantly, stopping to face him. "Can we talk about what happens next?" Liam's brow furrowed slightly as he nodded. "Sure. What's on your mind?" I want to make sure we're on the same page," Ethan said, feeling vulnerable as he spoke. "With school starting soon and everything changing, I don't want us to drift apart." Liam stepped closer, his eyes searching Ethan's face for reassurance. "I get it," he said softly. "But I don't think we'll drift apart. We've built something really special." Ethan swallowed hard, feeling a mix of hope and fear. What if things get complicated? What if you're busy with lifeguarding and I'm swamped with schoolwork? "Then we'll make it work," Liam replied confidently, taking Ethan's hands in his own. "We can find time for each other no matter what." Ethan felt a surge of warmth at Liam's words. He wanted to believe that their connection could withstand the challenges ahead. "I want that too," he admitted, squeezing Liam's hands tightly. As they stood there on the beach, hands intertwined, Ethan realized how much he had grown since meeting Liam. He had learned to embrace vulnerability and open his heart in ways he never thought possible. "Let's promise each other something," Liam suggested suddenly, breaking through Ethan's thoughts. "What's that?" Ethan asked curiously. "No matter what happens, no matter how busy life gets, we'll always make time for each other," Liam said earnestly. Ethan nodded vigorously, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "I promise." With that pact hanging in the air between them like an unbreakable bond, they leaned in closer until their foreheads touched, a gesture filled with intimacy that made Ethan's heart race. As summer faded into autumn, their relationship blossomed even further. They navigated school schedules and work commitments while still finding moments to steal away together, whether it was late-night phone calls or quick coffee dates between classes. One evening, after a long week filled with assignments and responsibilities, Liam surprised Ethan by showing up at his art studio just as he was finishing up a new piece inspired by their time together. "Hey!" Liam exclaimed, stepping inside with an infectious grin that lit up the room. "I brought snacks." Ethan laughed as he turned around to see Liam holding a bag filled with their favorite treats, chocolate-covered pretzels and gummy bears spilling out onto the table. "You know me too well," Ethan said playfully as he set aside his paintbrushes and welcomed Liam into his creative space. As they settled down together amidst canvases and paint tubes, Ethan felt a sense of peace wash over him. This was where he belonged, surrounded by art and laughter shared with someone who understood him so deeply. After munching on snacks and chatting about their week, Liam glanced around the studio before focusing back on Ethan. "So what are you working on?" he asked curiously. Ethan hesitated for a moment before revealing his latest painting, a vibrant depiction of a sunset over the ocean reflecting both warmth and longing, a visual representation of everything he felt for Liam. "Wow," Liam breathed as he studied the piece closely, admiration evident in his gaze. "This is beautiful. You've captured so much emotion." "Thanks," Ethan replied shyly, feeling proud yet vulnerable under Liam's intense scrutiny. "It reminds me of our first kiss under those stars," Liam added softly, his voice barely above a whisper as he stepped closer to admire every detail etched onto canvas. Ethan's heart raced at the memory, the warmth of that moment flooding back as if it were yesterday, and without thinking twice, he leaned in closer until their lips met again in another sweet kiss filled with promise and affection. When they pulled away, both breathless from shared emotions, Liam smiled warmly before reaching out to tuck a loose strand of hair behind Ethan's ear, a tender gesture that sent shivers down his spine. "I love how your art reflects your feelings," Liam said sincerely, his voice filled with admiration that made Ethan's heart swell even more. I love sharing it with you, Ethan confessed, feeling grateful for how far they had come together since that fateful day on the beach when everything changed. As they continued talking late into the night, their laughter echoing through empty halls, it became clear, whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together hand in hand, hearts intertwined like threads woven into an intricate tapestry of love and connection that promised endless possibilities ahead.